The clash between Frank Martin and Gervonta Davis is set to take the boxing world by storm, as both the fighters are getting ready to be victorious on the fight night. Martin, being the underdog in this fight, feels more confident than ever to take on one of the best pound-for-pound boxers in the world in Gervonta Tank Davis.
You know, I feel like I got a lot of things that, you know, him, the world, a lot of people may not expect that I got, you know, so I'm just ready to go in there and capitalize off of the moment.
Despite being the underdog in this fight, Martin acknowledges the doubts and uses it to his advantage. Martin stated, "That embraced. Bet with me. Win with me. That is one of them things I embrace. I'm eating off it. It's fuel to me. So it is what it is. I'm one of those who goes out there and does the unexpected." Frank said that he's very thankful for this opportunity to go out there and face one of the best boxers in the world, knowing that he could make history if he beats Tank.
Yeah, it mean everything. You know, that's this moment, you know, it don't come by like that for a lot of fighters. So me getting it and then me being able to change the seat, you know, get in that seat, you know, it's a blessing to be able to have that type of opportunity.
Martin seems to be channeling the mindset of a teacher, looking to empower youth with his comments about the upcoming fight. "Everything that I'm working towards is a lot bigger than me. I do it for the kids, and I do it for my family and friends. I know that I can inspire others through what I do in the ring, and that's why I'm putting everything I have into being at my best on June 15th. Martin also had a message for Gervonta, as he expects to see the best version of him on the fight night. He stated, "I hope I get the best version of you, cause you gon' get the best version of me for sure." But during a recent face-to-face encounter, defending champion Tank Davis raised concerns about Martin's commitment, referencing his social activities with Ryan Garcia. Davis questioned, "You've been with Ryan, been drinking, been out with him partying. Do you have the skills to do that?" Davis highlighted Martin's late start in boxing, noting, "You started boxing when you were 15. If I started at 15, if I started when I was 15, I'm taking that off. I'm grinding. I'm grinding." In a press conference, Davis further dismissed Martin's bravado, stating, "He put on for the people that he comes with here because they think they're thugs and like that. But I'm telling you, it's a different beast in front of him." However, Frank's stablemate Ryan Garcia believes that Gervonta Davis will be victorious against Frank Martin. Ryan says that he loves Frank, but this won't change the fact that Davis will knock him out within 7 rounds of the fight. Ryan stated, "I will bet 1 million that Gervonta will KO Frank Martin within 7 rounds. I love Frank, but the truth is the truth." Frank responded to this by saying that he doesn't care about what Garcia says about this fight. He says that this social media stuff is fake, and that's why he'll just focus on the fight.
Because maybe he wants to fight Earl and Earl. Is that Ryan just helping promote the fight? You know how Ryan is? Or is there some truth to, like, you guys don't really get along?
I mean, nah, he was cool. You know, he was cool, but like me, I don't care what he say. You know, I wouldn't get on and talk down or, you know, like he went from Frank, from his press conference, Frank could win, to Frank gonna get, I bet $1 million against him. Like, that shit's fake to me. You know, like I don't people like that. You know, that's fake. I don't care if it's promoting, building, that shit's fake. You know, so I ain't with all that. Like, I'm the type of person, I rock with who I rock with, and you know, that's why my circle be small how it is, because it's fake. You know, like even with him saying that, I still ain't going down talking, bash his name. It is what it is. You know, let him lose his money.
Asserting his dominance, Davis also warned Frank, telling him that a lot of frustration has been built up inside of him, which he would take out on Frank during their fight.
That's all you do is talk.
It's a different beast in front of him. It's a different beast in front of him. Nobody that's walking with him, holding him hand in hand, is not going to be able to save him June the 15th. I'm telling you. And it's a lot of shit built up. It's a lot built up. And I'm going to take it out on him. Sorry that it's going to be him. I'm telling you. I promise you. I see y'all June the 15th.
Their press conference saw a bunch of back and forth between the two fighters, with none of them backing off on their expense. Frank Martin said that he is well aware of Gervonta's tactics and will show him his skills on the fight night. He stated, "I've been watching everything. I know how his walks. I've been watching everything. When we get in there, I'm going to touch him up. I'm going to touch his up. I know how him and his whole team walk." But Davis, being the trash talker he is, targeted Frank's girlfriend. He laughingly joked about wanting to meet Martin's girlfriend.
Him don't got nothing in common.
You don't know me.
But the little female he got.
That's the problem.
But that little female you got, she probably around here somewhere. I'll catch up with her. La, 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 la.
Similarly, Tank's coach, Calvin Ford, responded to Frank's claims this way. He's supposed to say that like y'all heard my interview. I want Frank to do what he is supposed to do, because I know it's going to make my guy do what he is supposed to do. And that's what it's all about that night. When asked if he'd get surprised if Frank directly came at Tank from the very first round of the fight, Calvin simply said no, because a lot of guys have quickly come at Tank, but none succeeded.
Would it surprise you with a bell ring, he just came directly to Tank? Like, would that kind of like...
No. We had a lot of fighters came directly to Tank. Tell me what fighters you didn't see since Tank been fighting on this level that a fight did never come to him.
The situation got more heated during the press conference when the two fighters stood up for their face-off. Frank made the mistake to place his hand on Gervonta Davis's face, and the champion slapped it down.
Once again, things heating up already for this main event, the WBA Lightweight Championship of the World. Fighters, take your seats.
However, the drama did not end there as Davis approached Martin after the event and disrupted his press interview. Frank appeared to be extremely confident during their furious argument. He warned everyone to not underestimate him because he is going straight for Gervonta's head.
He ready, but he's in my eye. He seen some shit in my eyes too. I don't what he say. It's just natural. It's the natural energy. You know, you got two like dominant like guys. You know what I mean? Like you got one who ain't going, you got another one who ain't going. I ain't going. You know, so it's just like, and it's real. It's real. So it's different. You know, it's different. I feel like everybody underestimate me. You know what I mean? I feel like this my opportunity. This my moment to, you know, shake the world. You know, the game up. You know, I feel like them giving me this opportunity. You know, let me in the door. They fucked up.
But the mind games were rooted during the press conference by Tank as he took out his cell phone during the face-off and showed some video to Frank. Later, Gervonta was asked about what he showed Frank during the confrontation. He added that it was a video of a sparring session between the two that occurred some time ago.
Was it sparring footage that you showed him on video?
Yeah,
Gervonta's main reason to show the sparring video to Frank was simply motivated by a desire to get inside his head. However, Frank refused to budge since he feels the true fight will take place on June 15th for all to see.
What's the story behind that? Like, I've seen bits and parts, but like, why does it keep bringing up, like, being brought up?
Man, it's sparring. We fighting June 15th. I don't even want to keep talking about the sparring, you know. He was going to show me the video. He didn't show it. He showed a certain part and turned up and all that, but it wasn't nothing that he showed.
Frank said that the sparring session he had with Tank was intense, as both the fighters weren't ready to stop and were eventually separated by others at the gym.
He came up to me like, hey, you'll get Tank some rounds. So I'm like, yeah. I don't know if they thought I was gonna say no or not, but I'm like, yeah, I'll give him some rounds. So we got in there and we had a real ref. It was real ref, everything in the ring. You know, all access.
How many rounds?
It was live.
How many rounds are there?
They had to get us a fight in there in 4.
It got heated.
They had to break it up. They had to break it up.
I heard it got heated in there. Like niggas want to go hand for hand, like without the gloves.
Yeah, it got. See, that's what I was thinking. Like right after, like right when they pulled us off of each other, like I hurry up. You know, I'm with one of my old trainers from that, but he live in Vegas now.
Okay.
So that's the only person I'm with. So I hurry up, go to the bathroom, change my clothes. You know what I mean? Cause I'm thinking it's gonna go down. You know, I ain't know what's gonna happen, but I'm gonna be ready for whatever. But they was deep. They probably gonna fuck me up.
Man,
they was deep. I was by myself. You hear me?
Yeah.
So I end up going to the bathroom, changing and everything. I come back out, and then I get an interview with Fight Hype, like right after I came back.
Frank also believes that the fighters who sparred with each other have changed over the course of time. He says that he's a more improved fighter now, and it will show on the fight night.
I mean, I just feel like I feel like both of us are different fighters than we was then. You know, I just feel like he's grown as a fighter. I've grown as a fighter. So I just feel like that sparring was really like, it was just tough sparring, you know, it was just us in there fighting, you know, it wasn't slick, strategic. It wasn't like that. It wasn't that type of session. It was like we was in there fighting hard. But I feel like now we both two different fighters. So it's gonna be different.
Frank Martin struggled against Artem Harutyunyan in his last fight, which he won by decision. During the press conference, Gervonta brought up Frank's performance and reminded him of struggling against an inexperienced Artem. Later, during an interview, Frank was questioned if people bringing up that performance has any impact on his game plan for this fight. Frank stated, "People are always going to judge you after your last performance, so they judge me for that, and that's cool. I've got another performance on June 15th, and then people can judge me for that one. If Davis comes through that fight, there will be calls for him to face the biggest names in 135 and 140 divisions currently stacked with talent, including Vasily Lomachenko, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, and Shakur Stevenson." Recently, Tank has had beef with Floyd Mayweather, who consistently asked him to face Shakur Stevenson next. Floyd also posted a video of Shakur Stevenson calling out Davis on his Instagram story. Tank and Shakur also went back and forth on X, where the two of them threw verbal jabs at each other. Shakur replied to Tank, urging him to fight and not duck him. He posted, "Better off shadow boxing than fighting me." Gervonta replied quickly and taunted Shakur for being a boring fighter. He posted, "It's always like him talking like they some type of killer. These people seen you fight, bro. They hype." Floyd also posted a poster of Gervonta Davis versus Shakur Stevenson and captioned it, "This should be the fight." However, when asked what he thinks about the fight between Davis and Martin, Mayweather said that he doesn't want to speak on anyone's fight and exclaimed that it's boxing.
Tank and Frank Martin, what you think about that fight?
It's boxing. What's gonna happen is gonna happen. It's boxing.
That's right. That's right.
What kind of fight you think we're gonna be looking forward to?
I can't speak on nobody. I'm not here to speak on nobody else's fighting style or nobody else's fighting ability. I mean,
Keeping in sight the beef with Floyd Mayweather and his wish of Tank facing his new protege next, Davis had no hesitation to fight Shakur, as he thinks that Shakur has a big mouth. He stated, "I want Shakur Stevenson. He talks too much. I'll stop him. All he's going to do is run." But Tank also says that his main focus right now is to get the job done against Frank Martin. He stated, "Right now my focus is just on the fight I have on the 15th of June. We'll see once I beat this Frank, and then go after other fake." When asked critical questions like whether they are ducking Shakur Stevenson or isn't the fight with Frank too soon, he absolutely denied it. According to him, Frank Martin sits among the top 3 fighters of his category. This fight has been in the pipeline for the last 18 months. Frank asked for it and we approved it. After this, we'll see the others. However, Shakur Stevenson still believes that Gervonta Davis would annihilate Frank Martin on the fight night, as Tank is levels about Frank. Shakur isn't going to praise Martin because he wants a fight against Tank Davis, and it's not a good idea for him to badmouth the face of boxing. With the money Shakur can get fighting Tank, the last thing he needs to do is upset him and make him not want to bless him with that payday.
Honestly, the way that I look at that fight, it's just levels. Like, it's levels to the fight. Tank, he gonna go in there, fill him out, figure out that he's really not on his level, and then he gonna annihilate him and feel like he on top of the world because he annihilated somebody that's a C level.
Gervonta Davis has highlighted that Frank Martin starting boxing at 15 years old is late for someone to begin their career. Shakur agrees with this statement and thinks that Frank hasn't put in the same work as him and other boxers who have started boxing at an early age. Shakur stated, Frank started at what? 17 years old? 15? Whatever it is, he clearly started late. He's like a behind fighter, so he's got to catch up on all the years that we've been putting in work since a young age. I don't think there's any way he can do it. I think the only chance he has that everybody has in the sport of boxing is a puncher's chance, but that would depend on luck, and I don't see that happening. With every passing day, the hype is skyrocketing for Gervonta Tank Davis vs. Frank the Ghost Martin. Michael Benson has just posted the special WBC Freedom Belt, which will be given to the winner. He said, "The WBC has now revealed this year's special Freedom Belt, which will be given to the Gervonta Davis vs. Frank Martin winner on June 15th. Made to commemorate Juneteenth, also known as the Freedom Day, a holiday celebrating the emancipation of people who were enslaved in the USA. However, the belt, which was designed to pay tribute to all men and women who were freed from slavery, is also under heat." Former champion Andre Berto questioned, "Are they going to pay sanctioning fees for it?" The answer is no. Tank reposted this tweet and commented, "I'm not paying," but Tank deleted the tweet immediately. For their remarks, the WBC president Mauricio Sulaiman took a dig at both. About Tank's statement, he said that he was sad to hear that. To Andre Berto, he replied, "Dear champion, I am extremely disappointed about your misleading and offensive comment. You have always been treated with respect and absolute support as WBC champion. No, the WBC doesn't charge anything. This is a homage commemorating the victory over discrimination. With the fight between Frank Martin and Tank Davis just a few days away, many pros are picking their side on who they think would win this clash. Kenny Sims has spared both Tank and Martin. He says that Gervonta has always been a special fighter, and his ability to garner attention is there from the very beginning.
Fighter is Tank.
I mean, he's special. He's been special since we were kids.
Yeah.
Like, I knew he was, like, everybody knew he was special when we were kids. Like, I remember going to Silver and stuff, and, like, his ring would always be, like, you know, it was two, three rings, and when Tank fought, the ring that he was in was always packed. Everybody was around it, so everybody, like, it ain't nothing, knew that he was a special fighter.
You mean like everyone would line up to watch him because they knew he was that guy?
Yeah, like it was since we were kids.
When asked how he thinks Tank would go against Frank Martin, Kenny said that he has also sparred Frank and thinks he's a great fighter. But when it comes to Tank, he's just on another level. Kenny believes that Tank has the big pay-per-view experience, which comes handy to deal with pressure during a huge fight.
Like, I've been in there with Frank too. I think he wins. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
I think he wins.
Give him more insight because you know, like then we could draw from it.
I think he wins the fight.
But Frank is good.
Yeah,
like
Frank's a good fighter. Yeah, for sure.
I just, like, when I watch him, it just seems like he actually just checks a lot of boxes. Like, he is fast. He does have pop.
He's a good fighter.
Good defense. Good footwork. Like,
he's a good fighter. I just think Tank gonna get him. Tank can get him. It's just maybe even a matter of experience in those moments. You know, like, I ain't never had one of those moments in that big super fight.
Right.
Like, Tank knows how that goes. He's pay-per-view stars. You don't even know how that's gonna affect Frank. So, but I think Tank pulls it off.
Amado Vargas has spared Davis before. He is very hyped for this fight and believes that both fighters are tremendous boxers. But when it comes to picking a winner, he ultimately goes for Tank Davis.
I gotta ask you, having that past sparring session with Gervonta, just give us your thoughts on his upcoming fight against Frank Martin next Saturday.
I can't wait for that fight.
What do you think is gonna happen?
Two great fighters. Frank Martin's a great fighter as well. Tank, a great fighter. That's going to be a hell of a fight. I can't wait to see that. I'm rocking with Tank on this fight.
When asked why he picks Tank to win this fight, Amado said that he thinks Davis and Frank are both exceptional fighters. However, he edges Davis to win because of his experience. He stated, "I think they're both dogs. I like Frank's style as well. Southpaw, crafty, good fighter. But when it comes to Tank, he's just on another level. I think Frank doesn't have the big match experience, but I believe it's going to be a great fight." Zab Judah also pointed out Frank's lack of experience in the biggest arenas of Vegas, where the lights dazzle and roaring crowds stun the feet.
Frank looking big as shit.
Nah, Frank gonna bring it, but I just think that, you know, feet work. Okay, well, here's one thing
Judah mentioned Tank's decisive advantage in footwork over his opponent. He mentioned that Tank could do sharp movements like pivots and sidesteps much faster than Frank, which will help him stay away from Frank's reach and land a big left. He stated, "Frank is not really, good with his feet like that. I shouldn't say that. I should say, his feet are not as sharp as Tank." Devin Haney also thinks the same. He believes Frank is an exceptional boxer, but lacks big match experience like Tank. Haney stated, "I think that Tank beats him. I mean, we haven't seen Frank Martin at the highest level, the elite level. Not saying that he isn't elite, but we just haven't seen him. Do I think he's going to go in there and lay down? No. I think he is going to go in there to get his respect, and he gonna fight back." David Benavidez believes that this fight is going to be great, and Frank Martin is a great fighter, but he also thinks that Frank hasn't been tested on the big stage like Gervonta. David says that experience would play a factor in this match, so he picks Davis to win this fight.
Main event is going to be a good fight, man. Frank Martin, he's a tough fighter, tough competitor. But Gervonta is just Gervonta, you know what I mean? So I don't really want to, I don't know what's going to happen because we still haven't even seen Frank Martin be tested like that in like a really big fight like that. So we have to see how the first couple rounds go. You know, I think Frank Martin definitely has to push the action. He can't wait for Tank, because Tank he's very smart, and he's a hitter at the end of the day. He has a lot of power. So we're gonna have to wait and see how the fight goes in the first couple rounds, but I definitely do think that
Kermel Moten thinks that Frank is going to win a couple of rounds at first, but will get figured out by Tank in the later rounds of the fight. He stated, "I think it's going to be a great match. I feel like Frank will probably get the first few rounds. We know Tank give away rounds a lot. I feel like he'll probably catch him. He used to experience, and catch him later on in the fight and get the dub." Jeff Mayweather also leans toward Tank Davis, as he thinks that whoever steps in the ring with him eventually goes to sleep.
I lean toward Gervonta. I think Gervonta right now is just crazy, bro. He's the type of fighter right now that has to be proven that he can be beat by somebody else, because everybody that steps in the ring with him goes to sleep. And until that stops happening.
Since almost everyone is favoring Tank to win this fight, what should Frank Martin do to outshine Tank Davis? Boxing coach Virgil Hunter has proposed a plan for Frank's victory. He guided, try not to get caught. Don't take any foolish chance. I saw Gervonta with a fighter of mine. He's quick from a standstill, and he can cover a great distance. In one step, he can leave his feet and hurt you, so you have to be wary of when he attacks. He also mentioned that Tank's small frame becomes his biggest plus in the fight for Frank Martin. About this, he shared, he attacks from nowhere. He uses his size to take advantage. He makes you fight his height, and he is very athletic and a strong-rooted man. Showbiz the Adult believes that Gervonta fighting in a division closer to his natural weight benefits him a lot. He believes that this is the reason why Tank looks much more swift and healthy compared to other fighters making the weight.
Let me tell you why Tank is doing it great. Tank is fighting closer to his natural weight, which is why he doesn't have to get on dietary supplements like them, which is why he feels healthy and strong every fight, which is why his eyes aren't sunken in on the scale. He is doing it more old school. When you look at Floyd was fighting closer to his walk-around weight. That's why Floyd has so much stamina and he was so much healthier than everybody else. He did it old school. Old school is the best way. Everybody with this new thing of being huge and shrinking down and then rehydrating back, y'all putting up shitty performances. Look at Sugar Ray Leonard versus Duran 1. Look at Randy Turpin versus Sugar Ray Robinson 1. Look at the busyness of those fights. Weight draining yourself and doing all these things, you're gonna look like Devin Haney did against Ryan Garcia.
Teddy Atlas dives deep into the technical aspects of this fight as he stated, Martin's ability to fold pressure without folding will be crucial. He needs to establish his rhythm early, avoid getting trapped by Davis's aggression, and keep the fight in his comfort zone. Gervonta is not just a brawler, a thinker, a predator waiting for the right moment. When Davis senses vulnerability, he pounces, and that's what makes him so dangerous. But he also credits Martin and advises him to take it slow. Atlas stated, Martin has to use his jab, not just as a weapon, but as a tool for control. If he can frustrate Davis and avoid major mistakes, he can steer the fight into deeper waters. Robert Garcia believes that Frank Martin is going to be the biggest challenge that Tank has faced throughout his illustrious career. On the other hand, he criticized Gervonta Davis for not fighting against bigger names.
Get those big names in front of him. You know, I haven't heard him try to make a fight with Loma, with Shakur, with, you know, any of the top guys, even at 140, because he has.
Garcia believes that the big match experience is going to play a big role in favoring this fight for Tank. However, he also believes that Frank's trainer, Derek James, could help him prepare well for this fight. He stated, I think that's going to make a big difference. Frank Martin's first time ever in a big fight like that. That might play a big role. He has an experienced trainer that has been there before. That should help. I think it's going to be a very competitive fight. Garcia also mocked Tank by referring to him as a good businessman who's doing what's best for him. He stated, Gervonta does really good numbers, but I think he still needs to get those big names in front of him. I haven't heard him try to make a fight with Loma, Shakur, or any of them, or any of the top guys even at 140. Frank's trainer Derek James assured everyone that Frank Martin is putting in the work for the Davis fight. Derek stated, we have Frank Martin working out. Things have been said about that. It's a big deal, yeah. Jaron Ennis is well aware of Gervonta's power and his ability to knock out his opponents. He believes that Tank will finish Frank Martin in 7 to 10 rounds.
Tank and Frank Martin is gonna be a good fight. You know, I think Tank will get him in like 8, 7 to 9, and then 7 to 10.
However, previously, Ennis believed that this fight is what boxing needs right now, the best facing the best, and didn't know whether this fight would end in stoppage or not. He stated, the first couple of rounds are not going to be boring. It's going to be a chess match. They both are going to be smart, they're just going to go at each other, and once they figure it out, I think it's going to be a great fight. I don't know if it can end in a stoppage or even a decision, but I know it's going to be a great fight. It's what boxing needs, you know, to see top guys fighting each other. Andre Ward believes that Frank will need a well-thought strategy to counter Tank's aggressive approach. Ward stated, Frank Martin has a lot of tools in his arsenal, but his biggest challenge will be keeping composure under pressure. Gervonta is not just powerful, he's also cunning and relentless. Frank needs to use his jab not just as a weapon, but as a tool to control the pace and distance of the fight. This advice from Ward gives a good blueprint on how to counter a beast like Gervonta Davis. However, Ward also acknowledges the challenges that Martin will face during the fight, as he knows that Gervonta lurks around and finishes you once you get weak. Ward stated, Gervonta has a rare ability to change the complexion of the fight with one single punch. Even if Frank is winning rounds, he can't afford to relax or lose focus for a single moment. Davis has proven time and time again that he can turn things quickly. Liana Cruz loves the matchup and thinks that Frank Martin is a great opponent for Gervonta Davis, but she also believes that Tank is just on another level. She stated, I love the fight, and I think Frank Martin is a great fighter, but Tank, that motherfoo asterisk here is different. I'm a big Tank fan. I studied him a lot when it comes to learning how to be a southpaw, and I love the way he trains, his work ethic, his team. When asked about the match being a southpaw versus southpaw, Liana stated, I think the edge that Tank has is his IQ and his power. I think Frank is slick, but I think Frank is so smart and calculated where he's gonna place the shot perfectly to get him out of there. I think Tank is gonna stop him, unfortunately. I like Frank as a fighter, but I love Tank. Errol Spence Jr. also backs Frank Martin to upset Gervonta Davis in their upcoming fight on June 15th. Spence believes that Martin will get his hand raised on fight night and thinks that he will be the toughest opponent Gervonta has ever faced.
You supported him since the beginning. He supported you since the beginning. How do you see it playing out next Saturday?
Shit, I see him getting his hand raised. I mean, I feel like he's the most skilled, talented fighter that Tank ever fought.
Spence says that Tank won't be able to take those early rounds off of Martin and hopes for a knockout in the later part of the fight. Spence stated, Tank Davis can't take those early rounds off and come on in the 7th or 8th rounds and hope for a knockout. I feel like Frank is going to dominate him first through 12 rounds and win the fight. Spence says that Tank is a great fighter, but also highlights that Frank's speed and strength is something that Gervonta has never seen before. Spence stated, Tank is going to put up a fight. He's a great fighter, but I feel like Frank is definitely going to take it. He's the best fighter he's fought. He's going to see the speed. He's going to see the strength. He's going to see the power that Frank brings to the table come fight night. But Tank wasn't very fond of Errol's remarks, as he took to X and trolled him for giving him a warning. He posted, "Get ya money, champ." Leonard Ellerby is super confident that Gervonta will win this fight. Ellerby acknowledges that Frank is a good fighter, but he is not good enough to beat Tank. Ellerby stated, Frank Martin can't beat Tank Davis. None of those guys can beat Tank Davis. Frank's a good-ass fighter. He can't beat Tank, though. Promoter Eddie Hearn also believes Frank Martin is an easy fight for Gervonta Davis. He stated, it's all right. It's an easy fight for Tank. Frank Martin is a good little fighter. I don't think it's going to do mad numbers, but it's a good fight. However, Tank's former opponent, Leo Santa Cruz, believes that Frank has a really good chance to upset Gervonta Davis. Leo believes that Frank is a very active boxer, which could come in handy against Tank. He also advised Frank to throw more punches, but be careful of the notorious counterpunch that Gervonta has used to sleep his opponents.
Martin's, a great fighter. He boxes really good. If he could take Tank's punch, I give him a chance because, he throws more punches. He's more active, and Tank is, he's waiting for you. He's trying to counterpunch, and if he catches you, you're done. But if you don't catch him, I think Frank Martin.
What's the best advice you could give Martin going up against Tank?
Throw punches, move, don't stay there, wait for that punch. If you could do that.
So what are your thoughts about this fight? Do you think that Frank Martin can pull up an upset on the fight night, or will Davis continue his win streak? Do let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.